Hey guys, welcome back to the Poke Table. I'm Alex with Poke Legends TCG.
And my name is Logan. I'm here from Zippy's Card Corner.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, first we want to dive into the Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia set that just launched. Oh my gosh, Logan, I am geeking out about these gold cards, man. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think they've been. I think they're cool. I think they're a lot better than previous gold cards because they're not just the super rare and just like putting gold foil. And they're really hard to pull. I don't
Yeah,
recall the pull rates from the Scarlet and Violet era,
yeah,
but these ones are really hard to pull. And so I think there's just, with the hype of the mega sets being released, with the hype of these gold cards being actually kind of cool, and then with them being super scarce, like the
yeah.
prices are insane.
They are incredibly rare. Like there aren't even that many listed on TCG Play right
I
now. I mean,
know.
you're going. Some listings are like for $1,000 for
I
the
know.
Mega Gardevoir. I just looked yesterday.
Yeah, I think the market price is the market price on the Gardevoir is like 570. That's the market price. That's what
Yeah,
people are consistently paying. And like
yeah,
you said, people are paying over and I can't imagine, when people start grading these and seeing what kind of prices we're gonna see.
yeah. It's so rare. We don't even know what the pull rate is yet.
Yeah, I saw some people suggest like 1 out of 50 boxes, but that was speculative
Yeah,
simply because, they couldn't pull enough.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been insane. I'm curious, what did you think about the set heading into the launch? As a business, as a fan, I'm curious.
Yeah, so I had a feeling that the mega set was uh the two mega sets, Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, was going to be big just because it's the first mega block,
Yeah.
the mega set in this new block. And Pokemon's only done megas one other time, and that was like 10 years ago. So this is
Yeah, yeah,
fresh,
it's been a minute.
relatively fresh and new. So I thought it was going to be big. The gold cards though are what really took me by surprise
Yeah.
because historically they haven't been that popular.
No.
And also I also think it's really interesting how there's this next tier of rare that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Like we saw it with White Flare and
It's
Black Bolt with the black and white rare, and now we're seeing it with Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. So it'll be interesting if that continues.
it's super fun. Um, as a fan of the SIRs and SARs, I hope that they don't continue it because I really love the full art artwork, and having those be sort of the special ones you go after. Honestly, if I look back in the Scarlet and Violet era, I wish they just, canned the gold cards altogether and just made the SARs even harder to pull. Um, but not to say the Black Bolt and White Flare, carbon fiber, Reshiram and Zekrom, black and white rares, I think were so like out of left field, but they were so cool and
Yeah.
so, just high quality cards. I really like that. I think these are super nice as well. I mean, if they can keep up sort of like this gimmick of something new, every single set or every couple sets, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to more mega SARs and sort of the full arts there. But no, it's gonna be insane. I think that so heading into it, very similar. I thought it was gonna be super hyped. I mean, I knew it was gonna be super hyped. And we saw that. I think as a business, over the past couple of launches, I've been as a small business, you're hesitant to buy, I think, Japanese cards and sell them, not because, they don't sell as well as English usually. Um, and so you kind of have to taper your expectations when you are a small business, you are not very well known. And kind of my strategy in the past has been sort of, maybe get a little bit in the beginning and then sort of like gauge interest as it goes.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
with this set, I sold out in the first day of my wave one allocations, and I think that was super cool and super fun. And it tells me, especially with tariffs going away, and sort of the de minimis exemption going away, I think I'm gonna order more for the Inferno X set, you know. I
Yeah.
think that, without the $800 limit, to kind of, set expectations per, order, um, there's none of that. And so,
Yeah.
buying, however many boxes for next one, double or triple or quadruple the amount that I bought for Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, I don't think is out of the question.
Yeah.
And I think that I just think it's real. I think it's real interesting where we're at with the climate, the political climate, with the tariffs and everything, along with sort of heading into the fall.
Yeah.
Pokemon season, it's cyclical. The
Yeah.
summer is a cooling period. We didn't really see that this summer, but I think that, tells you just how strong this current market is. So I think heading into the fall with the lack of de minimis exemptions, with more hype going into it, with it being a Charizard set, I think next set, as a small business, I'm going to really sort of, unless something comes out and the artwork isn't as good, I'm expecting to go even harder on this next set than I did with Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we talked a little bit about this in our last podcast, but yeah, the de minimis rule is going away. So there was an exemption for anything bought overseas in Japan and imported into the United States. As long as that value is $800 or less, you are exempted from tariffs. But now that is going away. So now you have to pay the tariff, which is 15%
Yep.
no matter what.
Yep.
And yeah, I think the Inferno X set, that's headlined by the Mega Charizard, I think that is going to be I think it's going to be insane. So from all the Japanese sets that I've sold on my website so far, Glory of Team Rocket has been the craziest for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I think Inferno X is gonna top that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I think so. I think it has potential too. And as as a business that's growing, it's like part of my mentality is you got to risk it to get the biscuit. And, risking it more as new sets come out, as you sort of gain experience with launches and kind of understanding, the psychology of each set's release and what fans are thinking of it. Just looking ahead, I think, the next set, Inferno X, is one to risk it a little bit more. Um, in terms of Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, I mean, again, prices are bonkers, right? Where do you think those prices land? Because we typically see sort of, things kind of settle after 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I'm curious, where do you think it settles and when?
Yeah. So you hit on it a little bit where it's a bit of a risk to buy Japanese Pokemon cards, and the biggest reason is because it's so volatile. Prices can change sometimes 10+% in just a couple days, just a
Yeah.
few days. Things can change. With English, that doesn't tend to happen. Usually,
Right.
it takes weeks, not days. Um, and the biggest period of volatility is the first week of release versus the second and third week of
Yep.
release. So now we're getting into the second week. It's going to be interesting to see what prices do this week and next week.
Yeah.
Because we've got to be careful as store owners, right? If
Yeah.
we buy, Japanese Pokemon cards at a certain price, and then it ships to us in a couple days,
Yep.
and then we don't sell it fast enough, prices can quickly change and eat at our margins. So
Yeah.
that it's going to be interesting to see what they do over the next couple weeks.
Yeah. And just to call it an example is Black Bolt and White Flare.
Yeah,
When those sets came out, they were sitting at, $105, pretty consistently for market price the first week. Well, they're now sitting at, mid to low 80s per box.
yeah,
And we're only, the sets came out 2 months ago. Um,
yeah,
and so I do think every single Japanese set has dropped off.
yeah,
Um, I think that Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia is already seeing drop off.
Already seen drop off.
It
Yep.
was 92 to 96, $7 market price, first week. It's so hard to gauge it from the first week because everyone's selling everywhere and, um, the main platforms don't have a whole lot of time to catch up. But
Yeah.
it's about that much. And right now, Mega Brave is selling for, when I checked yesterday, Mega Brave is $90-ish a box, and then Mega Symphonia is down to 84.
Yeah.
Um, and so I definitely think we still have a ways to go. I think that um, I just think it goes to show that first week is very important as
Right.
as a business,
Yeah.
and how you kind of stagger your orders for a certain set.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, price. I mean, yeah, we're already seeing prices have dropped 10+%. And, when you look at margins in this business, 10% eats at almost all of your profit.
Right. Yeah.
So it can if you don't sell it quick enough, and this is where the risk comes in
Yeah.
and the business, right? If you don't sell it fast enough, you can quickly be upside down on your product, and that's not fun.
No.
So,
No,
but
I
but
agree.
yeah, but luckily for Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
At release, um, it was quite a popular set for sure.
But yeah, Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia was super fun. I think that launch went really well. I think prices will drop, as we get closer to the English release, right? That's the one that,
Yes.
a lot of, just a lot of fans are really, geared towards. There are absolutely Japanese collectors, but the English one is what I think, especially, living in the US, both Alex and I, that's what we're surrounded by, that people care about. Um, but like we mentioned earlier, we have Inferno X for Japanese that releases, very close to the Mega Evolutions English release.
Right.
Um, and Alex, I hinted at how we think that that set will do. Uh,
Yeah.
Alex, you want to reiterate sort of what your thoughts on that set are?
Yeah. I mean, from all the Mega Evolutions, right? You look at all of them. Mega Charizard was perhaps done the best out of
Yeah.
them. Plus, it being probably the most popular Pokemon.
Yeah.
We think and another fan favorite, the Mega Gengar,
Yeah.
is also most likely going to be in that set too. So
Yeah.
I
They.
think that's going to be crazy. But we also have other mega sets that are going to be on the horizon. We have
Yep.
the one that's going to be headlined by the Greninja. We
Yeah.
have one that's going to be headlined by Rayquaza. And we just got word of another that's going to be headlined by the Dragonite.
Yeah.
So, by the Mega Dragonite. Now, the it is interesting because the Dragonite is one of the most controversial Mega Evolutions that we've seen so far.
People love to
Uh,
hate that
I
one.
I don't think that one was done super well, but Logan, when was the last time a set was headlined by Dragonite? Like when was
I
the last time there was one of the biggest pulls in a set was Dragonite? Was it Evolving Skies?
I mean, you did have the alternate art Dragonite, and it's a sick card in Evolving Skies, yes.
Yeah,
But, it was so overshadowed by, the Moonbryon and,
the
the Rayquaza alt arts and
Rayquaza.
all,
Yeah, yeah,
all these other ones. That was kind of like, oh, good hit, but I wish I got this one instead. Um,
yeah.
and
Exactly.
so it will be, and so yeah, before that, I mean, I don't even know. I don't like I wasn't in the Pokemon game at that point. I had, come and gone, as a kid. So yeah, no, we're in new territory.
Yeah,
And I think that Mega Dragonite is sort of a very nostalgic Pokemon.
yeah. It's got a lot
But
of fan favorites.
it's a lot of fan favorites. But the way that they did the Mega Evolution, I just think fell flat with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and
would
so
say
it
so.
will be interesting to see, Lucario and Gardevoir, people love those cards, or
Yeah,
people love those Pokemon. Charizard and Gengar, people love those cards. Greninja, people love that,
yeah,
that Pokemon. Rayquaza, it's one of it might be my favorite Pokemon.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mega Dragonite.
That
uh,
and I believe it's
Mega Dream
Mega
EX.
Dream. Yeah, yeah, Mega
Yeah.
Dream. Yeah, yeah.
And it's this year's Japanese high class special set. So
Okay.
this is where things sort of get a little bit different than your standard booster box. So this is akin to Terastal Festival and Shiny Treasures, where you kind of have that smaller booster box, and there's 10 packs. Each pack contains 10 cards, and you get like a guaranteed hit per pack. So super fun set to open. But with it being the annual high class, there's also probably going to be a lot of hits in it. There's, at that point, Legends ZA will have been released and launched, and will have completed it several times over. So people will be aware of new Mega Evolutions that have been, launched with that game.
Yeah.
And so I think with this set, it's interesting because I think it will be, headlined by Mega Dragonite, but I think that there will be so many other Mega Evolutions in it, along with sort of, whatever gimmick that they, add to it. Um, I think that one could still be a very popular set.
Yeah. No, I agree. It'll be interesting to see what other hits are going to be in that set. Now, if some of the other hits, kind of fall flat, and it's mainly the Dragonite, that could be the set out of all of the ones that we're seeing that's on the horizon. That one could be the one that falls flat. But do you see any other ones though? We mentioned Ninja Spinner, which is headlined by Greninja. I don't,
So,
I don't know.
so at least when we're talking about Japanese, right? We have Inferno X that comes out.
Yeah,
There are also, you mentioned Mega Gengar. That's going to be introduced in a structure deck in Japanese. So I'm not sure if we're going to get, the super sick SAR for Gengar, at least in Japanese. I think we'll get it in the Phantasmal Flames English one,
yeah,
but for Japanese, I'm not sure. And so, you have Charizard, which is, I think, going to be sick. I think that's going to be awesome heading into the fall season. Then you have Legends EA launch. And then, as of right now, we're not sure if the Ninja Spinner or the Storm Emeralda, sets are going to be this year or next year. Um, if we head straight from Charizard into Mega Dream, I'm not sure. I'm not
yeah,
sure. I think that could hit. I think that could hit some of the hype in a negative way. Now, heading into the 30th anniversary next year, and then heading into, the Ninja Spinner and the Storm Emerald sets. I mean, maybe it, picks back up. Um, but I think if that's sort of the case and that's sort of the trajectory and there's no other sets in between, it could be interesting. I think it could be interesting. I think every other set that we mentioned, though, I think is going to is something that I'm super hyped about.
yeah,
I will admit I am still waiting and tempering my expectations for the Mega Dream. I'm not for the other ones, but for
yeah,
this one I am. And so, that says something.
yeah.
But that's sort of my take.
Yeah, yeah, and you sort of hit on it a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, um, sometimes Japanese sets will be combined in the English version. So,
So
for example, there was Heatwave Arena and Glory of Team Rocket. Those were the Japanese sets, and those two were combined in the English Destined Rivals. So
Mhm.
both those were combined. So Japanese will sometimes they'll be combined
Yeah.
into one. So yeah, you're right. I mean, some of these that we're seeing on the horizon, some of these could be combined into one.
Right.
Um, so and assuming, let's say, that does happen, where Dream comes right after um, Inferno X, where maybe that one's not as popular, maybe it falls flat. So do you think that would be a good thing? Do you think that that could be a good thing in the end?
It's hard to say because the Japanese and the English is so different, especially when it comes to the high class sets. And what I mean by that is when we look at the past year and we look at the sort of the timeline at which the Pokemon market has peaked and dipped and things like that. You know, uh, you had Terrestrial Festival EX that a lot of people got super hyped about all the evolutions, all that kind of good stuff. Um, and that was sort of the thing that really the market had already been going up with Surging Sparks. But when Prismatic Evolutions came out, that was the best special set. It's similar to where Black Bolt White Flare, where it's like there's no booster boxes, so there's only sort of accessory products. I think that I think that if Pokemon can get their act together and print enough, and kind of print to demand, or if they can print enough to meet demand, um, and the special set does not knock it out of the park, I think that could be sort of a catalyst for things to kind of to shift. And
Sure.
for the consumer, like more product is more product, which is super fun. Um,
Yeah.
it definitely, I want to be clear though. I think that there are a lot of fans that are super just into collecting Pokemon cards without any sort of, any other thought.
Yeah.
I do know that there are also a lot of fans, legitimate fans, that are interested in sort of, the market and understanding, how much their cards are worth, right? Like that's why we have people that are searching in their grandma's attics for, their base sets.
Yeah.
Um, is because I think there is a legitimate amount of people out there that care about that. Um, and they care about, having other people, the content creation, side of social media really be focused on Pokemon content. If we get
Yeah.
into a period where uh, the hype goes down, I mean, I think we'll see a lot of the Pokemon industry shift. Content creation goes down because people aren't as interested in hopping on that bandwagon. I think that people that are interested in Pokemon collecting, but also interested in, understanding the prices and things like that, I think that, you know, they'll be less interested and, prices will go down, which is a good thing for most collectors.
Yes.
But anyways, to answer the question, I do think that there is potential for that said and that timing to be sort of a situation where maybe the market doesn't crash. I don't want to say that.
Mhm.
But it could be a period where we start to see prices a lot closer to MSRP.
Yeah, for sure. And a great example would be Journey Together in English. I think for a lot of people, Journey Together kind of fell flat.
Yeah,
And for a long time, you could get Journey Together for nearly MSRP. I
yeah,
think booster bundles fell to like $32 or something
yep,
on TCG Player.
yep,
So at the very least, it allowed, um, for newer people coming into the hobby to at least buy something. Right now, things are still nuts. I mean, you go into your local Target, your local Walmarts,
yep,
you try and go in and to the Pokemon TCG. There's always like a Pokemon TCG section and
yeah,
like a Yu-Gi-Oh and like you guys like some sports cards. The
yeah,
Pokemon section's always barren. You might see like some battle decks.
yeah,
Um, but I feel terrible because for new people that are getting in the hobby, like kids and things like that, um, like there's nothing for them to buy. But for like when Journey Together was released, at least that was something that they could buy because it just wasn't quite as popular. Um, so it'll be interesting if we see the same sort of thing with one of these with these mega sets,
yeah.
with Dream or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
And the thing with Journey Together was that the set before was Prismatic Evolutions, which
yeah.
was super hype. I mean, heck, we're
Super hyped.
we're still seeing,
Yeah,
people, fight to the death for it.
yeah.
Set after was Destined Rivals, another super hype set. And
Yep.
so I think if you didn't have Destined Rivals following it up to keep, the excitement there, I think that could have been a real shift.
That could have
Uh,
been a correction waiting to happen. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so if Mega Dream EX or the English equivalent um, kind of performs like that, and we don't have any sort of understanding of what's next, the general population doesn't. You and I will because we're tuned into this. But um, if there's not, general fans that are kind of, hearing whispers of like, oh, do you know that Team Rocket's coming back, or
Yeah,
something is there to kind of keep their interest. Um,
yeah,
I don't know, could be interesting. I
yeah.
will say,
We really went from one super hyped set to another, like
right,
back to back
exactly.
almost. Like if you take out Journey Together, you go down the line. You have Surging Sparks, you have Prismatic Evolutions,
Yep,
you have Journey Together, which fell flat, but then you had Destined Rivals, which is the Team Rocket set, and then you had White Flare and Black Bolt. So White Flare and Black Bolt is Gen 5, and
yep,
for a lot of people, Gen 5 is actually their favorite.
yep,
Their favorite. It's a lot of people have a lot of favorites in that gen.
yep.
So I think that contributed to why the market just took off and it just hasn't stopped.
I know. No, I not. Yeah, exactly. Now I will say this coming weekend, not today, but next weekend, is the Pokemon World Championships.
Yes, yeah,
And last year is where they teased that uh, trainer Pokemon and Team Rocket were returning to the TCG. And I mean,
right, yeah,
what I'm saying is that there is potential that they also hint this year at maybe what's coming in the 30th anniversary
yeah,
to keep that hype.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah,
speculation, I don't know.
yeah. So guys, believe it or not, like things could get even more nuts because when Logan and I have talked about this many times, but with the Mega Evolutions being headlined by so many fan favorites, and then we also have the 30-year anniversary coming up. Pokemon historically has done something really cool with the anniversary the anniversary marks. This could get even more crazy.
Oh man, yeah. And I know we've talked about this enough, but I also want to say one thing that could keep Mega Dream EX inflated, even if it is subjectively a more chill set, less hyped. Um, Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out. This is
Yeah,
not, I don't know if it's considered a mainline game, but we haven't had a main Pokemon game in 3, 4 years now. Um, and I know that there are a ton of, video game fans out there that really loved Legends Arceus, back in, I think, 2021.
yeah,
But, you know, I do think that there is potential that if this game performs well and a lot of people get back into Pokemon, I know that's crazy to think that there aren't people in Pokemon right now, but
yeah,
if people get back into it from this video game, that could be the thing that keeps Dream EX kind of alive.
yeah, yeah.
Just an idea, though.
It definitely could keep the hype train going. And if you remember Pokemon TCG Pocket that came
Yeah.
out
Oh, yeah,
a,
exactly.
a few months back, that I think that contributed to the craziness that we're going through right now.
You
I
say
think
a few months back, it was almost a year ago.
almost a year ago. Yeah,
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 crazy. Time's flying. But anyways, yes,
yeah,
continue.
yeah. I think that definitely contributed to the hype train.
I
So
forget about that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people play it. I played
Yeah.
it. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you check it out? It's
Yeah,
really
no.
fun. Yeah, yeah,
When it first came out, I mean,
yeah,
heck, that
yeah,
was I was someone that was in the. I mean, I had started my business by then, but that was sort of a moment where I was even more into it, into Pokemon because Pocket was so fun, and I was opening my daily packs, and and yeah, people are still. I mean, it's a popular game,
yeah,
and so yeah, no, I think there are aspects of Pokemon that contribute to other aspects of it. And
yeah.
so Legends EA could be that aspect that, Mega Dream EX might need.
Yeah, absolutely. And then and if you go way back, right, the popularity of Pokemon in general, I think, was kickstarted by the original games.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
like that was like definitely. I mean, the show too, but the
Yeah.
games especially contributed to Pokemon TCG just being a mainstay.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree. Yeah, no, it's crazy. So, we'll see. We will definitely see, how the Japanese sets go and sort of the English product timeline. I'm curious. So we hinted on it a little bit,
yeah,
but Pokemon, they could print Dream EX into the ground, at least the
yeah,
English side. And that could help quote unquote fix, the market. I'm curious, what do you think, Pokemon needs to do in order to um, help customers and sort of, understand what's going on right now?
yeah. So one of the big things is I don't think we want people buying Pokemon cards that aren't even interested in Pokemon. They just want to
Yeah.
buy it to resell it to make money. I don't
Yeah.
think we should have that um, in the environment. I think that that is just not good for anyone.
Yeah.
Um, so Japan has done this. The Japanese market has done this, and they've done what's called print to order.
Mm.
So you can buy as much as you want, and they'll print it. So doing it that way, I think, is better than printing something into the ground like Battle Styles, Shining Fates, the what we saw in 2021, 2022. So like Battle Styles was released in I believe it was 2021, early 2022. It just sold out in
Yeah.
Pokemon Center like a few months ago. I mean, that's how much Pokemon printed that thing into the
Yeah.
ground.
Yep.
Um, and
Now,
I, yeah,
when you say print to or what'd you say?
print to order.
Print to
Yeah.
order. What describe again what that is and sort of what you think that is.
Yeah, so for a certain amount of time, like on Pokemon Center, for example, or or it could be
RJ.
whatever, right? It could be
Yeah.
pre-orders, it could be at release day, it could be whatever. But you have a certain time frame where you have the product available for purchase, and then however many that is, that's how many Pokemon. Now, Pokemon may have to release it later.
Yeah.
It may not be, I think usually Pokemon releases pre-orders like 6 weeks before release, pretty
Yeah,
much,
around that time.
around there. So it could be a little bit further out. But the benefit of that would be for people that just want to buy it to resell it, it wouldn't make sense for them anymore.
Yeah. And you're saying, oh, I want, you know, pre-release happens, there's a form saying I want 5 booster boxes, I want 10 ETBs, I want 30 packs, I want two
Sure.
premium collections. You submit your order, you pay a couple $100, and then you wait. That's what you're talking about, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think that would work. And Japan has done that before.
Yeah.
um, where they'll have a product available, like they did with the Glory of Team Rocket briefcases. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember those, but those
Yeah.
were so hyped that Japan was like, okay, look, we're gonna put it out there on Pokemon Center, the Japanese Pokemon Center,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make it available for pre-order, and we're gonna make as many as we sell.
Yeah.
So the benefits of that though would be we wouldn't have a repeat of 2021, 2022, where they just printed
Right.
everything into the ground.
Yeah.
Um, because we also do want investors, right? Those are an
Yeah.
important part of the community. If it weren't for investors, we wouldn't have cool things to open now. Like we
Not
wouldn't
everyone
have
likes them, but they are important. I agree.
they are important. Like we wouldn't have base set booster boxes
Yeah.
to open. We wouldn't have the original black and white set. We wouldn't have those to open if it weren't for
Yeah.
investors. So those are important too. So we don't want to scare those guys off either. Who we really want to scare off are people that just want to buy it to resell.
Yeah.
That's who we I think is toxic for the community right now.
Yeah. I think yeah, that is a solution. I
Yeah.
think that, you know, with how much English demand there is though, I don't know like I could see it turning into a disaster, right?
Mhm.
You know, they open the floodgates, they allow it to happen. Maybe you kick the scalpers, which would be
Yeah.
great, but now you have to print so much that, you have fans that aren't seeing this set, for, not just the 6 weeks until release, not just 2 months, not 3 months, not 4 months. You're talking a year, right? Like for example, Prismatic Evolutions. We're still seeing. I mean, that's we'll talk about it in a second, but that set is still so hard to come by.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of it has to do with the market and where we're at right now, and everything's kind of like that. But with the print to order, scenario, I think that you'd have people that are not really sure what they're signing up for, and
Yeah.
you get disgruntled fans who, you know, I just think that are not prepared for what that could mean.
Yeah.
Um, Now, we talk about printing to the ground. I think that I think that Pokemon's trying, man.
Yeah.
I think that we're seeing a lot of restocks.
Yeah.
And on really popular sets. I think we'll continue to see restocks.
Yeah.
I just What I think people are hoping for is that, we'll basically see basically a whole relaunch of older sets, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We're not the first people to say this, but Pokemon usually takes, 6 to 9 months to print a set,
Yeah.
meaning they've already started printing, their sets for next summer. They've
Yeah.
already started.
Yeah.
Um, and so, in terms of fixing older sets, I think that's sort of out the window, if I'm being honest. It's not possible. We're not going to see older sets hit MSRP. We're just not. I don't think so. I don't think that there will be enough restocks to do that. I think what does it is just, uh, if I'm being honest, I think what does it is you have sets that come out that are way more printed, so there's a lot more supply. But I also think there has to be some subjectivity, in those sets of like, this one doesn't really hit. And there's not really anything, kind of coming up. So it's like, maybe I'll sit this one out.
Yeah.
We have not seen people say, "Oh, I'm going to sit this one out." Not really.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think you have scenarios like that,
Yeah.
along with Pokemon attempting to, print more at launch. I really do think that
Yeah.
that's going to be the thing.
Yeah, but to play devil's advocate though,
Yeah,
like when could that be? Like we know the sets
that's
releasing in the next at least the next what 8 months, and then historically the celebrations,
yeah.
the anniversary sets have been super popular, so it
I
could be a
mean,
while before that happens.
I think you're right, and you know, I think I like. I don't think you're being devil's advocate. I just think you're being honest, and I
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I agree. Like realistically, this hype train could be going for a while,
at least
and
another year, I'd
at
say.
least another year. And I know people don't want to hear that, because
Yeah,
they want to hear like, oh, we're right around the corner. It's coming up, and it's gonna be there. I do think Pokemon's printing more,
yeah,
but unless we see, retraction from, people wanting a certain set and Pokemon printing more, that's what's gonna create, the surplus of product. And that's gonna be when people are like, oh, it's still in the shelves. It's possible, and like we said, I think there's potential with the Mega Dream EX sets, possibly, Pokemon could we know that they're printing more, you know, that could be sort of, the timeline over the next couple months when we start to see them print more at launch. Like I said, I'm very I'm very firm when I say that I don't think we'll see older sets hit MSRP. I don't think there's enough printers to go around. I don't think Pokemon cares enough. Um,
Yeah,
but
it could be.
I think that there are opportunities over the next couple months where Pokemon will print more, and if Pokemon, throws a stinker out there and they don't have anything to follow up with it, that could be the thing. I mean, honest though, I don't see that happening. I know that Pokemon, is just like Alex said, we're ready for the 30th anniversary. They already know that. They're
Yeah,
already printing,
yeah.
those.
They're probably already printing it now.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so like they know that this is an opportunity. Heck, I mean, we could be looking at Gen 10 coming out next year.
yeah,
That's even a bigger, video game launch than Legends EA.
yeah.
Who knows? But I just think that realistically, we're not going to see this hype train die down anytime soon. Doesn't mean that we're not going to be more product. I just think that we will still, be in this zone, this scenario, this environment where is going crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, what do you think of this? So part of the reason why Pokemon can't print enough is because they're releasing a set like every like what, 3 months? I think there's
Three
four or
months.
five sets
English, yeah.
for English. It's 4 or 5 sets a year. Um, so that's about basically 3 months between each set. So how long can you make your printers print any one particular set, right? Never mind past sets, right?
Yeah.
How long can you print them before they have to go off to packaging and distribution and so on?
Yeah. I don't know.
So what do you think of maybe instead of 4 or 5 sets a year, it's three? So like there's a new set every 4 months. That way there's more time for Pokemon to print more before they have to release it out into distribution.
I think from a fan's perspective, that is what we want.
Yeah.
If I look at it from Pokemon's point of view, I think that's shooting themselves in the foot. I think that for one, they've been doing this cadence for a long time. It might even before Sword and Shield, like it might even be, I don't know. But they consistently release these kinds of, at this cadence, at this consistency, and so that would be a complete shift. Um, I think also, we hinted on it earlier with Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. Japanese uh, prints even more. They churn out sets even faster. Once every 1, 2 months. Um, the thing is, and we see it with market price. Uh, there is a lot of hype at launch.
There is.
Hype dies down very quickly, especially if it's a set that like that didn't perform super well. I mean, imagine if Pokemon had done that this year and Journey Together came out. You know, I think you'd have a lot of unhappy fans, but that aren't seeing new
Yeah,
Pokemon cards for another 4 or 5 months.
that's
Um,
true. That's true. And just think back a year ago with there was Temporal Forces,
yeah.
Shrouded Fable. Like there were quite a few duds
Oh yeah,
last year.
yeah, right.
So like imagine if that was the model for last year. So yeah, I mean that's true. That's true too.
I
Yeah.
just I
Yeah.
think that we're in a time where Pokemon just knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're putting banger after banger.
Yeah.
And as fans, we get to enjoy, cool cards, cool sets.
Yeah.
I just think that it plays into sort of the hype.
True.
And from a business perspective, I just think that Pokemon knows that uh, you know, a set can be old news very quickly. And
True.
having new sets just around the corner keeps the appetite there for what's next, and just to keep people in just a little bit longer, like, oh, you know I'll hold off on this one, but I'm really I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
as a business, you're gonna get capital for this next one.
Yeah.
um you know if they're spreading that out over 4 or 5 months, I think that it leaves too much room for fans to become complacent and jaded with Pokemon as a whole.
True. I mean, yeah, I think sort of a hybrid approach would be for Pokemon to change their model when the hype is like
Yeah,
this, and then
yeah,
when things were going the way they were a year ago, where you couldn't even get rid of booster boxes for $100. Um, that would be ideal, but for the size of Pokemon, it's just not realistic. Um,
it's it.
because I mean, think of this: like, look at how when you look at market prices on TCG Player for let's just take Destined Rivals, and Destined Rivals has been out for a couple months now.
Yeah,
It's still so far away from MSRP.
right.
I think it's like $100 more than
Yeah,
MSRP
it's
right
still
now.
200, 240 plus.
Yeah, I mean it's still nuts,
Mhm.
and I would argue that Pokemon is losing money themselves by not printing enough for demand. Because
I
they're not making any
yeah,
money from the secondary market. Like they don't get a cut. Like TCG Player doesn't give Pokemon. At
yeah,
least I don't think so. They don't give Pokemon a cut of anything that sells on TCG Player. So
yeah.
yeah, a
It's
hybrid model would be ideal, but maybe it's just like Pokemon's making so much money they don't care.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's it at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But as a fan, like you said, it's like I know that there are people, I have friends
Hmm.
that are still searching for their first Destined Rivals product.
Yeah.
They don't care about Black Bolt My Flare. They want Destined Rivals. Unfortunately, in 2, 3 months, we already see less and less of it. But
Yeah.
in 2, 3 months, when we're 2 sets past Destined Rivals, you
Yeah.
know, uh, we're gonna kind of be out. And
That's the other thing, right? Stores tend to keep in stock the latest set. They
yeah,
might have a couple things here and there trickled from past set, at least in stores, right? Now online, it's still like maybe you'll get lucky on a restock online. But yeah, in stores at least, so they don't really keep a lot of stuff from past sets. Um,
and
so yeah,
yeah, and as a fan, it's like I want Destined Rivals. I want Black Bolt White Flare. Print more of that. Or heck, I want Prismatic Evolutions. Print more of that.
yeah,
And so, again, as a fan, I would be okay if they pushed off Mega Evolutions Tech next year.
yeah,
Because I just want them to print more Prismatic, Destined Rivals, Black Bolt White Flare, and I'd be okay. Honestly, you know.
yeah,
And that's kind of what you said. It's like 3 sets, I'm good. Three
yeah,
sets for the year, I'm good. But Pokemon just knows that that's they're at market ebbs and flows, their cycles. Um,
yeah,
and from their perspective, it's like they gotta keep the train going. Because they know that there will come more time. Whether it's this year or next year or 2 years from now or 3 years from now, like there will be times where the market's down and they
yeah.
will not be making as much money. And so yeah, like they're trying to keep that FOMO uh for as long as they can. And so I don't know. It's a weird time, man.
Yeah, and another interesting perspective, there are some people that think Pokemon is keeping this hype train going on purpose. I mean, Pokemon is at an all-time uh, popularity right
Yeah.
now with the Legends game coming out, Pokemon TCG Pocket, the regular trading card game is absolutely nuts. I mean, Pokemon is at an all-time high right now. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to it would be interesting to talk to like the higher ups at Pokemon to like
Yeah.
get into their heads and like, are you guys doing this on purpose? Like, come on.
I mean, I think you'd have to be silly to not at least think that it might be happening.
Yeah,
Now, again, yeah, like you got to look at it from both a business and a consumer perspective. And, from a consumer perspective, it's like, I want print more, print as much as you can. But from a business perspective, it's like you want, like, there are psychological, reasons to do certain things. And, you know, I wouldn't put it past him because from a business perspective, I think it would make sense. Is it, the right thing to do? That's a whole other story.
Yep.
But, in terms of making money and, continuing to make money and to continue to, have people invest in your brand, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah. There was I don't remember what the event was called, but some higher ups at Pokemon spoke about Pokemon very well being into 100 years. You know,
I know.
being
Yeah.
popular in another 100 years. So they're definitely thinking long term.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, no, I would, and they're such a smart company.
Yeah.
When you look at let's look at TCGs in particular. Which ones have stood the test of time? You really only have you really only have two that have stood the test of time. When you really look at it, you have Magic the Gathering and you have Pokemon. And maybe you can make the argument for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
But Yu-Gi-Oh! Has definitely, I feel like they've definitely fallen in popularity since, the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So,
They've struggled to keep. I mean, they are still making money. They're
yeah.
still, but they're the ugly stepchild of the big three. I don't even know if you want to call them the big three because it's really just the big two.
Right.
Um, and Magic the Gathering has had, not to say that Pokemon hasn't, but Magic the Gathering and Pokemon are ones that, we're still talking about, sets going, to the moon and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and so, you know, another way to help cool down this hype train would be to inject more products wholesale. So Sam's Club
Yeah.
is coming out with a new Prismatic Evolution
Yeah.
Lucario Tyranitar Premium Collection, and it's coming with 14 packs
Yep.
of Prismatic Evolutions for
Yep.
like I think it's $55. So you're
Yeah.
getting each
It's
pack
crazy
for
cheap.
$4. Isn't that nuts? You're getting a Prismatic Evolutions pack for $4.
Yeah.
Um, so market price right now, I think it's almost $10 a pack. So
When you look at the ETBs, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, ETBs I think are about $100 market
Yep.
right now, which is actually the lowest that it's been in the last few months.
Yep.
Um, I think part of that has to do with the ETBs that got released from Costco a couple months ago,
Yep.
and also the Sam's Club just released the ETB and
Bundle.
Pokeball bundle
Yep.
a while ago. So I think both those things have definitely affected the market. And then we have now this premium collection. So it's going to be interesting to see what the market does with how much of a dent these collection boxes do. So
I do think that Pokemon is trying their hardest specifically with this set. I think they really are.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Again, I don't think that there will be any sort of amount of restock that I think. Like I just think that we will the hype will remain
yeah,
and we will simply roll past the point of where Pokemon is going to reprint Prismatic. Um,
yeah,
Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in 2 years when there's finally a slump and we're still at sort of this window where
yeah,
Pokemon might be printing 2-year-old sets like they have with 151, with Crown Zenith, things like that. Um,
yeah,
but I also think at that point, Prismatic will have increased in market price simply because it's getting to be an older set.
yeah.
Um, but I will admit, Pokemon is trying their hardest.
They're trying. Yeah,
And so I think we could still see pretty good price drops.
yeah.
Does that mean like what I don't think it means is product on the shelves.
No, and
I
it doesn't mean MSRP. I
doesn't
don't
mean
think
MS
it'll ever get close to MSRP.
it won't be
Um,
MSRP. You're not gonna easily find this, after work at 5 p.m. at
no,
Target on the shelves. I don't see it happening.
no,
Um,
not gonna happen. No way.
Market price? Sure. Market price will drop.
Yeah,
More product on the market? Yes. Um, but if you're, an MSRP gang, I just think that you're gonna have to be sitting, in the Target parking lot and the GameStop parking lots for a couple hours waiting
yeah,
for your weekly restock. I think in order to do that, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I have friends that do it. I know other people that do it. It's that's an aspect of collecting. That's an aspect of the hobby. But I know there's a lot of people that don't and think
Yeah.
that if they just wait it out. I don't see that happening. But I do think that this restock will, and probably more restocks will continue to kind of drop the market price.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Or buy singles. You could
Or
just.
by saying, yeah, I mean, yeah. There's the smart collector thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I don't think it'll ever drop to MSRP. The lowest I see it dropping is to maybe $75 to $80 for an ETB is the lowest I see it dropping, and even that's a stretch. Now, what's interesting is Pokemon they released a statement saying that, hey, look, we're gonna print more of this. We're gonna print to maximum capacity. They did that specifically to prismatic evolutions. So I do agree, at least for prismatic evolutions, they may, you know, they may do some extra stuff to try
Yeah,
and get that market price under control. Um,
I mean,
I do
I
think
think
it's a
it's
losing battle, though.
yeah, no, I think it's cool that this is a completely new, product, the Lucario and Tyranitar premium collection box. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
And the price is certainly, attractive. Wholesale pricing, if you can get your hands on it, like that's a steal.
yeah,
Um, I just think that, you know, when we look at the market as a whole, and we've seen it with other, all these other restocks. The price will dip, but then it'll go 10% up. It's like taking, you know, it's like taking two steps forward, one step back. I think we are making progress towards a lower market price,
yeah,
but I just don't think it's fast enough to get us to MSRP before, it kind of goes out of print.
yeah. It's about a 2 year window. So those watching about it, Pokemon will print something and make it available for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, it becomes much harder to find, um, you know, uh, coming straight from distributors. Usually, you have to go to the secondary market to get it. Um,
Well,
so
and we see that with 151, right? Like
yeah,
right now, we are still seeing 151, restocks,
here and there, yeah,
with booster bundles and things like that. I don't see any ETBs, but you do see
right,
booster bundles every now and then. You do see like Blooming Waters, the premium collection boxes. You do
yeah,
see those restock every now and then.
yeah.
Um, but they're getting eaten up
They're
super
getting eaten
quick,
up. Yeah, they're
and
getting eaten up. Yeah,
it,
and the 2 year mark for 151 will be this September.
right. And
We'll
so
about
like,
2 years.
you
So
know, you have sort of this weird I don't know how to say it, conflict where it's like, you know, Pokemon's gonna print as much as they can in 2 years.
yeah,
And, as we get closer to that 2 year mark, like maybe the market dies down. But the other side of that is that people are aware that this super hype set that has all these amazing evolution Pokemon is getting older. And what do we know about older Pokemon cards? Prices are gonna go up.
prices are gonna
It,
skyrocket.
it,
Yeah,
it's 151 right now, right? Like, you know, it's getting eaten up. And because there's just less of it out there, and because people are seeing it as an older product, like I mean, heck, the ETBs are hundreds of dollars right now. It's just that's just how it is. And so unless Pokemon adjusts that window of reprinting, and not like oh, it's been 3 years and here's, a 10 item restock. But no, like legitimate, here's several hundreds of thousands of units at this store 3 years from now. Like that's how they do it. I just don't think that they will change it for this.
yeah. No, I agree. I don't think they're gonna change that. And the EV evolutions, you take out Charizard and you take out Rayquaza and Gengar. They're pretty much they're top tier favorites
Yeah.
for almost everyone. Definitely top 10. Whether it's
Yep.
Umbreon, Sylveon, one of them.
Yep.
You combine that with the fact that it's not just one of them; it's freaking all of them are SIRs and prismatic evolutions. I
I
mean,
know,
and
dude.
you look at it historically, like you look at Evolving Skies, you look at some of those EV evolutions and Evolving Skies, they're still skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, no, I agree. I think Pokemon's gonna print as much of it as they can, for the same 2 year window, and then, believe it or not, guys, the prices we're seeing now for prismatic evolutions, you may end up wishing you bought it now versus
Right. Mhm.
another 18 months from now.
Yeah.
Um,
Where you're crossing your fingers that the market
right.
goes your way.
That's the other thing. So there are a lot of people that are just like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait until the market cools down and then I'll buy it. Well, that doesn't work if it's if it's not within the 2 year window.
And
You'll absolutely 100% have to pay market price because it won't be released in stores anymore.
well, and
So
we just talked about, there is a real chance, not just, we're not doing wishful thinking. There is a real chance if 30th anniversary goes super hard, Gen 10 comes out the end of next year, it's like the hype could literally go until, 2027 and beyond.
and
Um,
beyond, yeah.
so
Isn't that crazy to think about?
I don't know, man. Yeah, yeah, weird. It's weird, dude.
Yeah. So I think we can wrap this
Yeah,
episode up. I think we talked over some good stuff. But guys, next episode, stay tuned. We're going to be talking more about our businesses and getting into some of the details of how we approach content creation, some of the behind the scenes stuff we do with our stores. So I'm super excited for next week's episode. So definitely stay tuned.
yes, no, definitely. It's going to be super fun. I'm excited about it. I think there's going to be a lot of information that I wish I had known when I was starting out my business and, being able to just go to a single video that goes through all these different things. Um, and one thing that I wanted to call out is that we're going to try and introduce sections throughout next episode where we're going to kind of take a pause and answer questions directly from you
Yeah.
guys about, whatever it may be, whether it's market related, whether it's business related, anything. And so I want to call that out so that, if you have questions or if you have comments or anything like that, let us know, whether that's on, this YouTube video's comments or whether it's in, either of our Instagram DMs or anything like that. I just want to say that that's something that we're also expecting to do, not just next week, but, and beyond.
Yes, I am super excited for that, guys. So
Yeah.
please DM us, please comment. That's one of the things I am most excited about for what's to come.
Definitely.
So
So, yeah, if you like this video, give us a like, make sure to subscribe. We have a couple of ideas, kind of in the works about, if we hit a certain subscriber count, we can go do a video on this or things like that. So it just helps the channel out. It helps, us grow, helps us get more questions and answer more things for you guys. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, please leave a comment for next video. But I think that's it.
that's it. Thanks for hanging with us at the Poke Table, guys.